from AllBrands. Welcome to the AllBrands show. We go live every Thursday at 3:30. We're going to be talking about making patches with Brother National Educator Barb Michaelajczyk. Now, this is her easy secret recipe to making really professional looking patches that are just perfect every time. We'll be talking about some embroidery machines and also some accessories. If you see anything that you like, there's a link in the description of this video to purchase any of those items. Also, we'll be doing a giveaway at the end of this video, so please be sure to comment #AllBrands to be eligible to win. And I'll bring in Barb Michaelajczyk. Hey, honey, how are you?
I'm great, and I'm so glad to be here, and I can't wait to share with you how easy it is to make perfect patches.
So patches are really cool. And like, just what is it? Like, how easy is it really?
So it's so easy, you're going to be surprised because everybody thinks patches are hard to do, and you can do these on any machine, as Barbara already mentioned. So I'm working on a multi-needle, but you can do these on your flatbeds. And if you don't have a Brother machine and you don't have some of these features, there are still ways to do it in whatever machine you have. So you're going to see me go through the whole process, and by the time you're done, you're going to say, how come I didn't get that before?
There you go. So if you guys have any questions along the way, please be sure to leave a comment wherever you're watching from, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we answer those questions afterwards. So anytime you're watching, just ask a question. We love to get questions and answer, but if you're watching live, we'll answer them live today, which is really cool. So I saw some really cute samples that you were showing me earlier.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with what you need in supplies, and then I'm going to show you a couple of samples and what worked and maybe what could have worked better and how, and then we'll get into the whole thing of actually showing you on the machine all the way to the finished patch. Ready?
Wait.
Okay, so whether you want to do these for personal reasons or you want to maybe make some money on the side, making the patches is exactly the same. So this is for any patches you want to make. So like I said, multi-needle or flatbed, no problem. And I'm wondering how many of you have tried to make patches and how they've turned out. So I'm going to start with the first patch I ever made, because it did not turn out very well because I didn't do it the way I should have. So yes, the upside down, the digitizing is great. It looks fabulous, but the patch itself is terrible. It's all like wavy, and I didn't do a wide enough satin stitch around it, and I didn't, seal it the way I'll teach you how to seal it. So I have all these hairs and all this stuff. It's just not a good looking patch. You can see a little better on the side there. Not so good.
Oh, Barb, that patch definitely needs some help. But I think that you're muted, so if you could unmute yourself. It just happened, so.
Why?
Oh, here we go. We can hear you again. All right. But yeah, that patch, oof, needs some help, honey.
Not good. Not good. So I didn't do a wide enough satin stitch. I didn't do the seal on the back. All of those things played a thing. Here's the last one I made. So you can see how much more professional this looks. And it has the seal on the back, the adhesive that we're going to talk about and show, which seals in all your threads so you don't have to trim them. Take the time to trim them. And it also seals your edge perfectly, no matter what the shape is. So we're going to get into that. So here's another way that I did some patches. I used this. It's called the Patchmaker kit. And I'm going to show you different ways to make patches, and they work for different applications. This will work great for some things, but I'll show you what you need to watch for when you use this. This comes with 2 rolls in it. One of them is a heavy-duty water-soluble stabilizer, and that's what you hoop to stitch on. And the other is your adhesive that you will attach to the back of your patch. So let me show you what happened. Here's the water-soluble stabilizer that I stitched out several patches on. And it's very easy to just punch out once you're done. like that, and it'll just rip off and you're all set to go. And some of them turned out great, but some of them not so much, and I'll show you why. So since this doesn't have a seal on the back, you can see that I have some threads and hairs kind of sticking out of this. So I would have to take the time to, I don't stop for thread changes, to trim that. I used that method on all of these patches on this little pair of jean shorts. So they're really cute, but I'm going to show you how some turned out better than others and why. So this one turned out great, and the satin stitch all the way around looks perfect. And some of them did, but as I got to stitching more and more on that one piece of stabilizer, it started to pull away from the stitching, which meant then that by the time I got to some of the last stitches, the last patches, see how this area up here on the queen is not nice and smooth like the rest of it is? It pulled away on me. So you might want to, if you're using this method, use a couple layers of this to avoid it pulling away on you like that. I need to go back and start with, that was a way to make patches on a stabilizer. The problem with that is, and if you're just doing a few for personal reasons, it's great. But if you want to make some money on the side, it's all stitching number one, which takes more thread, more time, meaning it's more expensive to do it that way. So if you're going to do other patches, the suggested fabric is twill, just twill, because it has some stable to it and it doesn't need to be stabilized. So think about that money savings and that step time savings. And you can get twill in any color you can imagine. I have black and I have white here, but
all right. Hey, Barbara, I think you're muted again. No worries. Here we go.
When did you lose me? Okay, the background color of your twill is the background of your patch. So if you have a patch that has a lot of white in it, you're going to use white. If you have a lot of black, use black. If you have red, whatever. And then you don't have to stitch that part. And it turns out perfect. So you remember that whatever color twill you use is the background color of your patch. So like I said, there's many ways to make patches. And I'm sharing some of them and how some work in some cases better than others. You may have another way to make patches that's worked for you, and that's all great. So again, you start with twill, and you can buy twill just plain from a big box store, or you can get twill from places like AllBrands that have kits of different colors. And so you have a variety of pieces to make patches on, and you can buy them that already have the adhesive backing on them. So again, there's different ways to get your products and how to use what you want to use. But remember that professional patches always, always have an adhesive back that is adhered to the patch, whether you're going to adhese it onto your project or you're going to sew it on. It still has that because that's what seals in the patch so that it doesn't look like this one. And it looks more like this one. That's what does that on the back. And then also so that you can get that professional edge. So you always want a back on it.
Hey, Barb. So
yes,
we do actually have something, and I think this is what you use, and we sell it on the page link to the video. It's called Poly Patch Twill. It's perfect. It works so great. I love it.
Don't you have those in some kits of different colors?
Yeah.
She's got a sports kit and just a general kit, and then there's another professional kit, or I don't know, different colors, which is great. So you can buy patches ready-made online, and they come in different sizes, different shapes, and so on and so on. If you don't want to bother doing the patch part, but all that is the satin stitching. So you might as well just do your own. It's cheaper. You do want to use polyester, however, polyester twill and polyester thread, because there is a burning process in this where you melt the edges and stuff like that, and you don't want to have it fall apart, and it'll be great. So let me see. When you create a patch, you need to have 3 things in mind. Okay. Number 1, You must have a satin stitch running around the outside of the patch. That's a given. Satin stitch for patch, okay? 2, keep your outline and your edges smooth so that's easy trimming. Now, this has got a good shape to it, but it's still smooth. Makes sense? It doesn't have to be boring just to be a circle. And number 3, remember that the patch fabric color is the base of your fabric. So keep those 3 things in mind. Satin stitch, simple shape, and for smooth, trimming, and then that you use the background that's most prevalent in the stitches for it. So now I'm going to show you a few of those samples that I kind of teased Barbara with. So this is on a little girl's raincoat, and I didn't want to stitch all that on the raincoat to perforate it that much. So I just did the patch, and then I attached it. And then I just added some red on the bottom and the sleeves to really bring in the raincoat theme. So that's one reason, because I didn't want to perforate it. Another way to make a patch is on something like a towel, because you know how hard it is to stitch on towels with toppers and all that kind of stuff. Now, this was just made on regular fabric that was appliqued on. So after I got done, I just did the satin stitch onto the towel. So you can see, well, I guess I did Minnie Mouse too, but normally I would just do that. And then another reason to use patches is for, say, little baby legs on pants that you didn't make, they're ready-made, and you want to put a patch on it or a design on it, and it's just too tiny. There's no way, but you could do a patch, and if you had to, you could hand sew it on, or if you can get in there enough, you could, put it on your machine. Here's another reason you want to use a patch, and you're all going to laugh at this, but it's okay. I did a onesie on my flatbed. This is before I had a multi-needle, and I caught the butt, right? You know how that is, because it's just really hard to babysit that and keep it away. When I caught the butt, I had to cut it out. So look at that great big piece I had to cut out. So I wasn't going to waste this. It was too cute. So I made a patch of an apple and put it over the cutout. And then I put a second one on because that first one just looked silly where it was. And now you have a fix for an oops. Patches work all kinds of good ways, right? Okay, let's see what else I want to tell you before we go to the machine. Again, we'll repeat. Twill is typically the best choice for fabric because it has that great weaving and consistency, and it doesn't need stabilizer. You're going to use polyester, fabric, and thread. You're going to back your patches with something. So I have a couple of things here. I showed you the first one, the Patchmaker kit. That has an adhesive roll in here. And here's another one that you can get from AllBrands. It's called Hot Fix Adhesive. And this is, when I show you how we're going to do this on the ironing board, you want to put this on according to the manufacturer's suggestions. And once you get that on correctly, you cannot rip this thing off of your project. You can't. So get some good stuff to work with. All right, let's see. What else do I want to say? I think that's enough for now. Let's see if there's any questions, and then maybe go to the machine.
Well, everybody, if you have any questions, let us know. One of our Facebook users asked for that first patch that you showed us that was all kind of frizzy on the edge. How long ago did you make that?
Oh, well, let's see. My husband belongs to this club, and since then they've changed their logo. It's been a lot of years.
Crystal says, I always thought patches were a bit bulky. I'm hoping that there are better patches to be made.
Absolutely. This looks exactly like any professional patch you would buy anywhere, and you can do it. And I'm going to show you how.
Awesome. Terry says, I'm going to be addicted to patchmaking. Thanks, Barb. Oh my gosh. So you can pre-make patches and sell the patches, and they just put it on whatever they want to. No brainer. If you have a raincoat, a leather jacket that you don't want to perforate, hard to shoes, so many different things to use patches for.
I have another one I should show you. Maybe I grab it when we're kind of switching here. It's a pair of little girls' boots. There's no way to put anything on there, but I put a Minnie Mouse patch on it.
Well, let's get to the machine. So we're going to be showing you on the Brother PR1055X how to easily make patches. Now there are some exclusive features that are only available on the 1055, but don't worry, you can.
But I'm working on the 1050.
1050, that's okay. The 1050 is no longer available. It's been replaced by the 1055, but all of these features are on that machine. So, okay. Well, Barb, I'm going to let you get your camera ready so that we can move on over to the multi-needle machine. And oh my gosh. So just think, if you're doing patches, if it has a lot of colors in it, you don't want to have to stop and come back and thread every color. If you have a machine that has multi-needles and you're doing this as a side hustle or, you know, for supplemental income, you definitely want to consider a multi-needle machine. All right, so it looks like Barb is ready, so I'm going to bring her in.
So I actually have twill hooped in the magnetic sash frame because I want to make sure it's not going to move at all. I do not have stabilizer in there, and I want to do several at the same time. But I'm going to start by showing you on the screen of the 10 needle how to make the patch. I'm going to work with something that's built in, but you know you can bring in anything you need to, either via USB, because I don't have wireless, or if you have wireless ability, you can do that. And again, I'm going to repeat, you can do this on flatbeds as well as multi-needles. So I'm going to stick here and grab a design, and I want to grab a design that has a definite shape to it so you can see how this works. Set my design. I can do any sizing or whatever I want to, change colors, and I'll show you that in a little bit on the next demo part. But I'm going to make this a patch, and here is my icon. It looks like a shield. So when I make that a patch, I have the ability on this machine to tell it how far away from the edge of the patch I want the satin stitch to go. So I usually like about 0.060. So I'm going to try that and take a look at it. Now I get to check the results, and if I'm not happy with it, I can simply go back and change that spacing a little bit more and try it again till I'm happy. So this looks a little better because before the corners of the wings were almost right on the sashing or the satin stitch, and I don't want that. When I'm happy with that, I just go ahead and say set. Now on my machine, this icon is lit up, and that whenever it's lit up, it wants you to touch it. So I'm going to do that, and that's to group these two pieces together. However, when I do that, I only get to duplicate, and I want to do something different than that. So I'm going to go ahead and group it this way instead and say okay, because now I can use this icon to put multiples on my screen. And I will add right and left. I'll move it over, add another one, and I'm happy with that and move it up. But those are too close together because I can't really trim that very well. So I'm just going to use this icon here to stretch it out, and then I can center it left and right. That's great, but I want to do more than 4. So I'm going to change this to the vertical add, and I'm going to add a row below it. Oh, it's not too large to do that. Why are you telling me that? Oh, because I pressed the wrong icon. And again, I need to spread it out because I don't want them that close. I want to be able to work with it. So now I can do 8 of these in one stitch out. And I'll say, okay, but there's one more very important thing to do. And that's after I edit end, I want to color sort because I want it to stitch all the same color at the same time. Now you can do this on your upper end flatbeds, more important than on a multi-needle, but it does save time when it doesn't have to go back and forth between needles as often. So let me show you as I go into embroidery, pretend like I changed my colors, but you can see how it lists the colors it's going to stitch. I personally, this is not something you have to do, but I personally like to stitch out the satin stitch first and then do the actual patch design next. But I would have to change this and I would have to go back here, or I can press plus minus, and then I can touch the, whoop, I just touched my camera. Sorry about that, guys. All right, we're back. And I can do, that's applique position. I want to come a little bit further down the line because I want to do the applique, and I can just back up to the first applique. Wow, when I practice this, it didn't do the camera, but I'm good. And I would then stitch that out first. After it's done, it would start at the beginning. That's just what I like to do. I like to have my satin stitch solid before I start anything else.
Oh my gosh, Barb, that is so easy to do with that awesome interface of the machine. Yep. It just arranges everything. It makes the patch for you in the 10 needle. I love it.
And it does it on many, many, many of our flatbeds too.
Whoa.
So they have that same shield icon on the upper level machines of the flatbeds. We've had that for years.
That is so cool. So let's get to a few questions. Let's see. Okay, Beth Small asks, can you use organza when doing patches?
You can use organza. I would say 2 or 3 layers, probably 3 layers, but you still want to seal the back of it. That's the deal. I mean, unless you're trying to do something very lacy and flowy, I would seal the back of it. Doesn't mean you have to iron it on. You can still stitch it on. But once you seal the back, until you do it again and you remove that paper that's on the back, it doesn't interfere with anything. So someone else asked about Velcro. Yeah, you could still stitch Velcro on here if you wanted to, but I would still seal it.
Okay. Here's one from Mary. Do you digitize your designs?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes. Depends on how much time I have. So sometimes I have them done, like I had this one done. But something like this, I can do right on the machine. There's so much I can do on the machine, especially with Design Center. So I can do a lot without digitizing.
Oh my gosh, and we didn't even show Design Center yet. Maybe if we have time before the video's over. Okay, Trisha's asking, how do you wash the patches with adhesive?
Just normal. Just wash them like normal. That's why it's a professional adhesive and it's not going anywhere.
Okay.
So if you buy something at the store that has a patch on it, you just wash it normal and it stays there.
Got it. Okay, Diane asks, so will adhesive make the needle sticky?
No, not the right stuff.
Hot Fix. That stuff is awesome. Click the link in the description of this video. Hot Fix is the coolest product ever.
Yep.
Okay. Tricia says, I'm using my 1050 now. We've gotten a lot of comments that everyone loves their Brother multi-needle machine.
Yeah, I can't complain. It's great. I still want the 1055, but...
Okay. Judy says, is there a standalone software for patch making? I mean, the machine does it for you.
Brother that I know of, but you can make patches in most all of our software. You just bring in the outside. Yeah.
That's cool. I love these machines. There's just so much that we can show, but I love that you can just use that badge and it turns any embroidery design into a patch. It's so great.
Yep.
All right. I think that's all the questions that we have so far. I have a few more saved, but is there anything else that you wanted to show us on the machine?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I'll let you run on over to the machine and just let me know when you're ready, Barb. And if you guys have any questions, please ask them in the comment section and we'll answer them live. Okay. Looks like Barb's ready. And here.
Now I want to bring in another design to show you some other things you can do right on your screen. So I'm going to bring in this fire department design and I'm going to do some changes to this. So I did a bunch of patches for a fire department that they were going to put on their hats. and they didn't want their regular patch. They wanted something different. So I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to set this, and they don't want it this big. So here's what you can do right on your machine. You don't have to go to your software. I'm going to size this, but I'm going to tell you this again, because every time I do a demo, someone says, I didn't know that, or I forgot. So those of you who know this, you've seen me do this before, know what I'm going to do. And that's if I don't press the magic button, which is this one, I can't change the stitch count on the face of the machine. And it will go 20% bigger or smaller, and it will only change it one stitch, which is 40% different, and that's not okay. So I'm going to go ahead and press the magic button, the one with stitches in it, which tells you it is now going to recalculate your stitching. So I'm going to go ahead and resize. We go down quite a bit, because once I put the satin stitch around it, it's going to be the size that they want. And I'm going to say, okay, whoops, touched the wrong part. And I'm back to my editing screen. So I want to say again, how much you can do right on your screens of your machines. With many of the Brother machines, you can do all of these: size, rotate, mirror image, change colors. I'm going to show you that in a second. So keep in mind how nice this is to do right on the screen so easily, and it's right before your eyes. You see it change as you do it, which is really wonderful. So I'm going to change the color of the blue. This is going on a blue hat, and I don't need to stitch that blue. So I'm going to go to my color palette. The blue is selected, and I'm going to make it white because I'm going to put blue letters over that. Yes, this is going to stitch if I let it, but I won't. I will put a stop on it and not stitch it. So I'm going to say, okay, make it a patch. And I did change this back. I was on 80 or 80 before. I changed it back to 60 and set. And there's my patch. And I know I'm happy with that. So I can say, okay. I now need to add lettering to it. So I'm going to add some letters. I use these. And this is the Glen Ellen Fire Department. And I know that medium, Glen Ellen Fire Department, medium works. And I can size that a little bit more, which I will. So I'm going to set this, and I'm going to say size those letters, and that's boxes around the letters until it fits inside the design. And I'm good to go. That's how simple that is. Now I need to change a couple more colors, don't I? I need to change the letters, pick that, and I want them to be the blue. And I also need to change the satin stitching. I don't like pink, and it always comes in pink. And that's just so you know it's a satin stitch, and then you can assign whatever color you want to it. So it went away, my letters went away, but not really. All I have to do is press that icon. They'll come back forward for you to see. Okay, so there's my patch, and I'm happy with it, but I need to make a whole bunch of them. So I'm going to do a lot more editing here. I need to group this and say, okay, now see how that's grayed out, which I can't do that. If I press that at this point, even though I'm already grouped, I can now press that and add my pieces to it. I need to do a lot of these, so I'm going to put as many as I can. Whoops. Yep, that's good. And I'm just going to move it over. We'll center it. Good. Then I'll move it up, and I'll add a row to the bottom, and I'll spread that out. So now you see, I know as a teacher, I always had to do everything 2 or 3 times before you got it. So hopefully you get those, how to multiply them and how to spread them out. So now I have all of the ones I want to stitch out, and we're going to go to, I'm not going to spend this time stitching, but we're going to go to edit, to embroidery. I'm going to color sort, don't want to forget that. And once you're in embroidery, it's ready to go. Now it starts with white, which I don't need to stitch, right? So I can say, okay, go to plus minus, and I can go to this red here and start on my red. And if you want to check that it's good, you can just back up stitches until you're sure you're at the beginning of red. And that's how easy that is to do.
Barb, wow. Okay, the Brother 10 needle is such an awesome machine. And sometimes I forget that it can do so many cool things. So while Barb's getting back to her computer, I'm going to show you guys the machine that we're actually talking about today. This is the Brother PR1055X machine. We currently have this available in our 7 retail stores throughout Louisiana and Texas. We have 60 months, 0% financing on it, so you can make a low monthly payment per month if you'd like to do that. We do offer trade-ins, or you can pick an extra with this amazing bundle. So it comes with the 10 needle, the stand, the cap equipment for doing caps and hats, and the Durkee Easy 7-in-1 frames. There's just so much that you can do with this amazingly versatile machine. So, oh, it looks like Barb is back. Hey, Barb, thank you. That was fantastic.
Thank you. But that's what I wanted to show you is how a lot of times you don't need software because you can do so much right on the machine editing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we did have a question that's very good. So these features like making it into a patch or resizing so that it actually digitizes the design. And you said once to me that it goes up how much percent?
200% larger than anything you start with. 200% larger or 60% smaller. And it redigitizes the entire thing perfectly. Now, if you buy a design somewhere and it's not well digitized to start with, you're just going to get a different size, not so well digitized. But if you trust your digitizing, you can do this, and it does it. But you've got to press that magic button. Yeah,
the little stitches with the with the arrows on it, and oh my gosh. So which I'm going to quiz you real quick. Which models of Brother machines have that redigitizing feature on it?
Oh, heavens. I don't know how long you guys have all been around Brother, but I can go back to the Quattro.
Yeah.
It had that.
So the Stellaire should have it too.
Absolutely.
Right? The Luminaire will have that. All of the
Dream Machine.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. And which models have that shield icon on it for applique or
well, I know it's on the Dream. I think it was on the Quattro and then past that.
Yeah. But the 10 needle, the benefit of having that is that when you're doing multiples, you showed us in the video how to set it up to do all of the red first, and then it's going to do all of the blue, and it'll save you so much time. Fantastic.
Especially on a flatbed.
Oh, we're just chatting away. I got 22 comments coming in with questions.
I've got some answers here too. Regina and Jeanette asked a couple of questions. Those are coming up. I'm going to show you what the burn is all about, and I'm going to show you how to get those clean edges. So it's coming.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna I'll let you run over to the ironing board and show us the next step. I'll compile more of the questions and then we'll just answer them all at the end. How about that?
Okay.
All right. All right. Oh my gosh, I love this. And in this next part, you'll see Barb Mikulajczyk has a Laura Star iron. I have a Laura Star iron. If you aren't familiar with them, they are fantastic products. I believe it's the best iron made for sewers. So if you haven't made that step yet and you want something that's a very good quality that'll give you a good press, definitely consider that. And next week, we'll actually be live with Emily from Laura Star. So if you want to learn more, please subscribe and you'll see more next week. Okay, looks like Barb's ready. So I will bring her. So we took out what I stitched. Like I said, no stabilizer. And here they are. I just did 6. I didn't do 8. And then you're going to rough cut
literally rough cut out your patches. So I started by just literally taking a pair of scissors and cutting around until you get to the point that you're going to have about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, whatever you want, doesn't matter. And this is now ready to put the adhesive back on. Remember, I told you all professionals always use an adhesive back. So to do that, you're going to take some kind of parchment paper, or you can take a silicone sheet, whatever you have that protects your iron and your board, and that goes down. You're making a sandwich. So the bread is your protective sheet. Then you take your patch and you lay it face down. You want the, sorry, I showed you the wrong side. You want it face down because you're putting the adhesive on the back. Then you take your adhesive and you figure out which is the shiny side. Can you see? Yep, there you can see the glare. The other side is not shiny because that's where your adhesive is. So you put the adhesive down and you put your sandwich back on top of that. And then you have the choice of taking your iron or a heat press, and you follow the manufacturer's directions for whatever adhesive you're using. Make sense? Now, I have a Lorastar, which I love. It took me years to spend the money on it. And it was one of those things that I said, why did I wait so long? It seems silly that an iron can be that different, but it can. Just ironing things like my jacket are so much easier to do, not to mention all my sewing and quilting and all that stuff.
I love mine too, Barb.
Yeah,
I have the board. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. So now you have pressed your adhesive on, and I need to tell you, press it from both sides. The word is twice as nice. So you want to press it from the top and the bottom and make sure it's really secure. Then after it's pressed on, you peel off the paper because you don't need that. Then you take your heat tool. So I just have a heat craft tool, and you can pick the tip you want. They say you use a universal tip, but I have my applique tip and I like that better personally. You also always need to have a dry rag or paper towels, because as you do this, you will collect extra gunk on here from the adhesive, and you need to keep that free or it's going to adhere to the back of or to the edges of your patch. You also need a piece of glass or tile, which is what I have, leftover tile, and you're going to face your patch face up so you can actually see what you're doing. And you're going to take your heat tool and you're literally going to run it right along the edge, and it is going to cut the polyester fabric, melt it and cut it away. And if you run into some of your stitches, it's okay. They will just melt and be coagulated basically and ready to go. And you will have your professional patch all set. I have one here somewhere and now I can't find it, of course. And it's all set and ready to go, just like the professionals.
Yes, I love that. And it does look so professional when you have the right tools. So Barb, while you're getting ready, you use the polyester thread, which is your regular standard embroidery thread, 40 weight, and the polyester will melt, correct? Oh, here you are. Hey.
That's correct.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's talk about, didn't I tell you this is easy? It's so easy. So one of the things you want to do is when you hoop your fabric, you want to make sure that it is really secure and it's not going to go anywhere. So I used a magnetic sash frame for mine because that fabric doesn't move on that thing at all.
Oh my gosh. So let's talk a little bit more about the, we talked about how easy it is. That's how easy it is to make a patch. Let's talk a little bit more about the equipment that we showed today. Now, all of the soft goods are in the description of this video. There's a link that you can click for things like that, heat tool, which is great for making patches. It's really a must-have. But someone was asking earlier if you could do all of those features that you showed earlier on a 6 needle.
Of course.
Yay! So you're in luck because the PR1055X, you can purchase it in any one of our 7 retail store locations, but currently right now, maybe for a limited time, we're not sure, but Brother is allowing us to sell it on the internet. So you can purchase it on our website, allbrands.com. It's $11,499. You won't have to change your thread after every stitch because you have 6 needles ready to go with the colors, and they change automatically in your design. So right now until September 2nd, 2023, you can purchase this online, get free shipping, and you can do the 60 months 0% financing for as low as about $192 a month. So it's just a no-brainer. Now that's just the machine. If you're interested, we have a bundle available where you get the stand and the cap equipment, which is normally $1,000 for each one of those things, at a low price, bundle price of $12.99. You can still get the 0% financing on that, free shipping, in-store or online. Just no brainer. The 1055, which is the 10 needle Brother embroidery machine, you will need to purchase that at any one of our 7 locations. You can purchase the machine, or we have the side hustle bundle. So please visit us at any one of our locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Slidell, Lafayette, Louisiana, and now Shreveport is our new location in Louisiana, as well as Houston and San Antonio. And also, last but not least, that iron that we're going to show next week on the show is the Laura Star. The lifts start at $729. It has a dry steam. Y'all, these things kill bed bugs and lice and COVID. They're like, for real, the best iron that you can purchase for garment care, for sewing, for quilting, for it's just really, really a great iron. So I had to get that out of the way before we get to the questions, because these equipment is so great.
So I did see a question that said, what bobbin thread? I just use standard bobbin thread. That I use the Magnaglides pre-wounds to make patches. You don't need anything special because you don't see the back.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's get to some questions then. So Lori said earlier, I had to put this in here because I thought it was so cute. I made patches for my grandkid for the training underwear, and they would not mess in them because of the patch. Perfect.
What a great idea.
Right? So Regina asked earlier, you did answer this, but that heat tool is what you use, and it melts the thread on the way around. And here's one from Jeanette. I have a roll of hot fix, but I thought it could release in the dryer and restock elsewhere unless you stitch the patch back in place. Is this so?
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Wash your dryer.
Cool. Wow, I didn't realize the 10 needle could resize design stitches. Thought I had to do that in software, Crystal says. Paula says, I need a magic button. Well, there's so many magic buttons on all of the Brother machines. Like I started to say that the patch was my magic button, but I found like the redigitizing is my magic button. There's some magic buttons in my design center, which we didn't even talk about today, but you can basically create embroidery designs in your machine if you have the 10 needle or the Luminaire or the Stellaire with my design center. Margie asks, can I do this on my Stellaire? Absolutely. Lori says, do you need to be in a ventilated room when you're burning the patch?
So it sounds like she's making a statement there that you do need to be. I have not found that to be true, but I'm not doing a patch after patch after patch either.
Well, you must have done a really good job explaining, because I so far have starred only the awesome comments so far. But Star, welcome to the club. She just brought her brother embroidery machine home today, running it right now. So happy for you. That's great.
Someone asked if a stencil cutter heat tool would work. I don't have a stencil cutter heat tool, so I can't speak from experience. I am the type of person who says, try it. So take some polyester fabric and see what it does. I don't know much about the stencil cutter, but I would try it.
Yeah. Let me check the rest of the comments. Guys, if you haven't yet, please comment hashtag AllBrands, because we'll be doing a giveaway at the end of this broadcast for $25 allbrands.com e-gift card. But hey, Barbara, I think we have a little extra time. And we wanted to show, didn't we want to show the hooping process?
The sash frame?
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Elle Favor says, I want a magic button. Yes. Well, if you get a brother embroidery machine, there's tons of magic buttons on there, I promise. And they have great hoops and accessories available too, which it looks like Barbara's getting ready to set up her, it's called a sash frame for the 10 needle. So this is available for, I believe, the 10 needle and the luminaire, but I'll check on that afterwards. So it looks like Barb's ready to go. So here.
So now I'm going to go ahead and show you the magnetic sash frame for the multi-needles. There is one for the flatbeds too. This is the PRMS 360, in case you're interested. And I am hooping twill to make patches that do not need stabilizer. So all I have to do is run my magnets. There is an arrow here and it faces in. Run my magnets along my fabric. That's all I have to do. And I do top and bottom, side to side, and then I fill in a few more. So just remember, keep your arrows to the center and run it through. And it has a 90-degree V on the edge. So that means my fabric is not going anywhere. And when I'm making patches, multiple patches, I definitely do not want my fabric moving, but I can also do this on chiffon or anything like that, and nothing moves. This is an amazing frame. Now it has its own driver built into the frame. So all I have to do is put this on my machine and put the screws in, and it's ready to go. That's how simple and how fantastic this magnetic sash frame is.
I love it, Barb. And it's very easy to take off the magnets, even though they're very strong. Brother makes this great tool that comes with it to release the magnets off of the hoop. There it is.
Here's the tool. And if you can do it just using your fingers, you can grab that. But if you have a little trouble with the strength in your hands, and some days I do, you just take this tool and rock it on the edge and it lifts. And all you do is just pick them up. I mean, that's how simple it is. So you don't need hand strength, even though these are very strong, like Barbara said. Literally, you just rock it on the angle that the magnets fit on.
I love the sashing frame. I've used it on my 10 needle, and it works fabulous. So let's see here. It looks like Barbara's back. Hey, Barb. That thing is awesome. And it's so cool too when you do the twill, so you don't have to use stabilizer when you're hooping the twill for.
Nope.
So easy.
Someone said, would this work on a different brand of machine? And as long as it's very similar to ours, the answer is yes.
Oh my God. whoop, there it is. I love it. Oh my gosh. Jeanette says, I need one of everything we've seen. So please, Jeanette, please consider allbrands.com as your dealer, because we would love to show you any of those items, or please come to our store and learn more about that. Rebecca asked, what's the size of the magnetic sash frame?
8 by, oh my goodness.
12.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. There is one for the luminaire that's 10 and...
We have 2 now for the luminaire, 10 and 5/8 by 10 and 5/8 square.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the sash frame that is, I think it's also 8 by 14 though, 8 by 14.
Okay. Yeah. Well, those are in the description of this video as well. Yes, they are super strong. I've used the magnetic hoop in my luminaire and love it. It is super strong, says Carol.
It is.
Oh my gosh. Let's see if we have any more questions. No,
One
we
question
don't.
here from Donna, is it tubular? The answer is no. When you're making patches, you don't need that. But if you wanted to use a magnetic frame, I'm trying to think.
There's a cool one that just came out last year. It's called the Flash Frame for the multi-needles, and it's available in 4x4 or I think 5x7.
Yep.
And it is so cool. It has a snap-in driver, which is cool. And it's got 4 magnets on the top. So technically you can leave it on the machine while you're hooping certain items, and it has like a little catch in the back where if you're doing something like a quilt or something with a lot of overhang, it'll hold it. You have one. These things are so awesome. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I also have the 5x7, but these release just by squeezing this together on the edge here. You just squeeze it and it comes off. Okay. And so you could put whatever you want to in here and then leave the rest flow so it could go under the bobbin case. So that would be something you could use for onesies or anything that needs to be, open on the bottom for your free arm. They are magnificent. They really are.
Magnetic and magnificent. And
yes.
The driver, you just snap it into the machine. You don't have to like clip it in, or it's a flash. So when you're doing a lot of hooping in and out things, I wouldn't use this one necessarily for patches if you're doing multiples, because you want to use the largest size hoop for that. But this is great for like quick and easy hoops.
So I want to show you, you actually put your product in there and then put your magnets on it. But see this area up in here? This area allows you to take, say you want to get to the bottom of something, you've got a lot of excess on the top, you can stuff a whole laundry bag up in there and still embroider on the bottom and have your space work out.
I love that, because oftentimes if I have a lot of bulk in the back, I have to watch it and monitor it and make sure it's okay. And that just gives me a lot more security, that it doesn't get underneath something and things like that. So, oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Barb. Let's do a giveaway.
We'll have to do another one using this frame for you so they can see just how it works.
Yes. It's an awesome frame, the flash frame. So 5x7 or 4x4, and that magnetic sashing frame is 8x12 for the PR1055X. Does it work in the 6 needle?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, I got to look that up too, but I'm pretty sure it does. I don't have a 6 needle, but I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah.
I know these work in the 6 needles.
Yes.
I've done that.
Yeah. It's great for if you want to do things quick, or just if you just want to save time, doing embroidery. But definitely if you're doing a side hustle, if you want to make money with your embroidery machine, get the right tools. Your life will be so much easier.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so here we go. We're going to do a giveaway, and here's our screen. Ready? Who's it going to be our winner today? Did you comment hashtag AllBrands? And Susie! Congrats, Susie! Yay, you're a winner. All right, so please email me at events@allbrands.com with your name, number, and address to claim your prize, and I'll get that over to you right away. Well, Barb, you're awesome. We really appreciate you coming on the show. I hope to have you on again a whole lot more.
I love teaching. Let Barbara know what you want to see, and I'd be glad to work on it.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for watching who tuned in today. We had a great group, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. We have the AllBrands show every Thursday at 3:30. Courtney has been doing tons of scan and cut videos. She's going to start doing multi-needle videos on her AllBrands After Hours show that comes out on the weekends. And yeah, so much more to come. Also, if you're in the area, it's 1 month from now. There's a huge quilt show, sewing show, embroidery show. It's called Original Sewing and Quilting Expo. It's coming to New Orleans, Louisiana, May 4th, 5th, and 6th. There's going to be tons of classes, shopping, fashion shows. There's presentations on a main stage. Make it, take it's in all of the booths, and tons of inspiration, education, and fun. So don't miss out on that. Sign up today. It's a really great show. They tour all over the country, and this is the first time that they're coming to New Orleans. So we want to have one every year. So let's make it great. And we're really excited to be working with this really well-known show that travels all across the nation. So, well, thanks, Barb. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
You're welcome. I hope everybody learned something today and had a good time.
Yes. Bye.
Soon. Bye, everybody.